Hello station students. Now that you are done with making all 5 parts, we are going to put them in the same document called the 5-part lineup. So the first thing we're going to start to do is we're going to create a new file. So go up to File and select New to start a new project. As usual, it starts with the person in the middle, and you see your 3 accesses. Now that it's a new project, we're also going to save it immediately before we get started. So go up to File, Save As, so we can name it, and we are going to name this with your Tech Lab number and called the 5-part lineup. And save. Sometimes it's easier to put your Tech Lab number at the end of our title, just so it doesn't get confused with our 5-part lineup title. There we go. Save. Okay, now that we have it saved, we are going to start by importing our 5 different parts into this document. That is slightly different than just opening them because they open separately. So we are going to go up to File and go down to Import. It should default to your folder where you can see your 5 parts. And the first one you made was the 1-inch cube, or I'm sorry, 1.5-inch cube. Select that and import. You will notice how small it is in comparison to the person there. So zoom in to the 3 axes. I always like to start on the intersection of those, the origin. It should snap to that center point. Click and release, and you have it in place there. Now what I'm going to do is with the selection tool, now that I have my first object down, you can see in relation to the person, if it's the right size. That is my 1.5 inch. I'm going to remove the person so we can import our next one. Go up to File, Import, and select the next one, which I believe was the 1.5 inch cube with hole. Import. Now when it's pulling it in, I'm going to try and keep all 5 of my parts on this red line, access line, so they're all in a row. So it should be easy enough. It should snap to the red line. Go ahead and put it close to the first one. Click once, and it releases and places that object. Now we can go get our third part. Go up to File, Import, and the cylinder. Import. I'm going to bring that in. This one, notice it's snapping on the center line to the red line. That's okay. I'm going to place it there. So far, so good. We're doing this so we can kind of compare the different sizes to make sure we are on the right track with our sizes. It's difficult to see if we've made a mistake with our sizes when it's in its separate file. So it's a little easier with all 5 of them in one place. I'm going to go up to Import again and choose my 1/2 cylinder. I'm going to snap it to my red line. And the last one, I'm going to go up, File, Import, and choose my triangle. And place it on the red axis. Now, at least I can see that they're all in line, they're all similar in size, but we're also going to practice on moving these objects. So, first thing we're going to do is I'm going to use the selection tool, and I'm going to come down, and I'm going to select the cube with hole. I'm going to zoom in a little, and now, if you've used before, the Move tool. I'm going to select the Move tool, and the trick to using this Move tool is selecting a corner as a reference on where you want to place it. So I can move around the side of this box, and I can grab it from the center, the corner, or other sides. But since I know I want to place this corner next to this corner of this object, I'm going to move this cube with hole from this corner. I click on that, and it's going to slide, and I'll zoom in until it touches the neighboring object. I'm going to click and release, and you'll see that they are attached. You can rotate face to face. Now, this is the tricky part with the Move tool. This is still selected. If I come over to my cylinder and click on it, it's just going to move the original box because I have not selected anything different. So I'm going to put that back in place. And I'm going to use the selection arrow and select my cylinder. Now I have that highlighted, and I can use the Move tool to move that object next to this one. Now, this gets tricky with circle objects. You'll notice if I zoom in, I can't grab this corner here. You can just grab part of the object on this rim. So I can grab the end point here and move it over, yet that's not going to be the point touching the other object. So I'm going to get it close, and then I'm going to rotate it around. I'm going to place it there, and I'm going to try and grab it from the end point that will be meeting the neighboring object. So I click and select that part, and I'm going to rotate back a little so I can see it, and I'm going to try and place it right on the center of that other cube. It's a little hard with circular objects. There we go. It's snapped in place. It's pretty close, and I'm going to place it there. If it overlaps a little, that's okay. I'm just putting them in line so I have a great comparison to sizes. I'm noticing that they're all the same height as well as the same width. So it looks like so far my sizes are right on and all the same. I'm going to go up and grab my selection tool. I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to select my half cylinder. Now I'm going to grab my Move tool, and I'm going to zoom in. This part's hard again because I can't grab this corner, so I'm going to have to rotate around and grab the end point at the back of this cylinder, right in the center. I'm going to click and release it, and I'm going to start moving it until it touches my orange cylinder. And I'm going to click to place it, and it looks like it's centered. If it's not exact, that is okay. One more remaining. I'm going to grab my selection tool. I'm going to zoom out, select my triangle, and then go back and grab my Move tool. This one should be a little easier because I have a corner to select, and it will be able to meet up with this other corner of the half cylinder. I click to place it, and you'll see all 5 parts there. Now if I use my Zoom Extents tool, it should center all of our objects, and you'll see we have the 5 parts that we have made. So this is the screenshot we need. Make sure you click the Zoom Extents. All of your objects are in line. It looks like they are the same size. This is where you will know if you have an object the wrong size, that you will need to go back and remake it, or at least edit it in the original file, not in this file. I'm going to go up and click File Save to make sure I have this object saved. I'm going to take my screenshot as is, where I have all my objects in row, and I'll place that screenshot into my engineering notebook. You have just completed the 5-part lineup. Good luck.